All right, let's talk about a tool that has totally flipped the script for coders, students, and researchers all over the world. We're diving into Google Colab. What it is, what it does, and why it might just be your new favorite thing. It's basically your own personal coding lab, right there in the cloud.
Let me just start with a question for you. Have you ever had this brilliant idea for an AI project or maybe some complex data analysis, and then that sinking feeling hits? Ugh, my computer's gonna melt if I try to run this. Well, what if you could tap into some serious computing power for free, like right now?
Before we get to the solution, though, let's talk about the struggle. It's a pain that pretty much anyone who's ever tried to code knows deep in their soul: the setup. It's this giant mountain you have to climb before you can even write one single line of code. And honestly, for a lot of people, that's where the journey just stops.
And this just nails it, right? First off, you need some pricey hardware, especially if you're getting into machine learning. Then comes the total nightmare of installing all the right software, making sure nothing conflicts, and praying you have the exact right version of every single library. And then, if you actually get it all working, try sharing it with someone else so they can run it. Yeah, good luck. It's a whole other headache.
But what if you could just skip all of that? What if your coding space wasn't on your machine at all, but just lived online, ready to go whenever you are? Well, that's exactly where Google Colab steps in. So what is this thing really? Simply put, Google Colab is a free, cloud-based environment that uses something called Jupyter Notebooks. If you haven't used those before, just picture a digital scrapbook. You can write a little block of code, run it, see the result right there, then write some notes, add a graph, all in one place. And Colab lets you do all of that from your web browser. No install required. This analogy right here is probably the best way to get it. It's perfect. You know how you can just open a Google Doc, share a link, and suddenly you and your team are all editing and commenting on the same thing at the same time? Colab brings that exact same easy, collaborative spirit to writing and running code.
Okay, so we know what it is, but how does it actually solve those setup nightmares we were just talking about? Let's break down the features that make it so powerful. Your whole journey with it is just simpler. First, and this is the big one, zero setup. You open a tab, you start coding. That's it. Second, and this is an absolute game changer, you get free access to really powerful hardware. We're talking GPUs and TPUs, these special processors that are essential for machine learning. This is the kind of gear that used to cost a fortune, and now you can just use it. And third, the sharing is effortless. Send a link to a friend or a coworker, and they can run your code, see what you see, and even jump in and work alongside you. Let that really sink in for a moment, because all the heavy lifting, all the computation is happening on Google's powerful servers. It doesn't matter what kind of computer you have. You could be on a 10-year-old laptop or a brand new desktop. Your experience and your power inside Colab is exactly the same. All you need is a browser. Okay, so this all sounds pretty amazing, but who is it really for? Well, it turns out Colab has become a go-to tool for a few key groups, from students in the classroom all the way to people working on the cutting edge of artificial intelligence. For students, it's a lifesaver. It completely removes that huge, intimidating barrier of the setup process. A teacher can just share a single link, and boom, the entire class is coding in seconds on whatever device they happen to have. For data scientists, it's a daily workhorse. It comes pre-installed with all the essential libraries they need, which saves a ton of time. We're talking about tools like Pandas for wrangling massive data sets, NumPy for heavy-duty math, and Matplotlib for making all those cool charts and graphs. And for the AI researchers, this is where that free access to GPUs and TPUs really becomes the star of the show. It lets them train incredibly complex models, these deep neural networks, using major frameworks like TensorFlow and PyTorch. It basically democratizes AI research, you know? It lets more people innovate without needing a multi-million-dollar budget. So right about now, you're probably thinking, okay, this sounds a little too good. Free supercomputers? Come on, what's the catch? And you're right to ask. So let's talk about the limitations. So here's the deal. Colab runs on what they call a freemium model. The free tier is fantastic, but it does have limits. If you're idle for a while, your session might time out and you'll have to reconnect. And while the hardware is great, those resources are shared, so they aren't always guaranteed. If you need more power and more stability for, say, a really long-running project, that's where the paid plans come in. They give you access to even better hardware and much longer, more reliable sessions.
See, when you boil it all down, Google Colab basically just erases the biggest barriers to entry, the cost of powerful hardware, and the complexity of setting it all up. It puts the tools for data science and AI into the hands of anyone with an internet connection. The lab is open, the tools are ready. Your next big idea is literally just one new notebook away. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?